Welcome back to one of my favorite sports podcasts, Frizz and the Grizz, with your host Trudeau and my guy, Keith Frizzy Frizz.
Hello and welcome back to Frizz and the Grizz. Another Monday, another episode. Thank you for joining us live, the 19th. You can find us live on Facebook or Twitch. Check us out on Twitch especially. Check out the tag at @DFrizzy_, the little line, Frizz5. That's where you can find D. and our show. Also, if you're just watching the show live or catching us on Twitch, get the full episode on podcast, Apple, Spotify, all those good places. Show some love, press the buttons, rate, subscribe, review. Big basketball show today. It's the only sport that we care about going on. Although to be fair, D's a big hockey guy now, and I've been to the hockey playoffs a little bit, but today's primarily basketball. We're gonna do 2 parts. First part of the show, we're gonna talk about the actual conference finals, and then the second half, we're gonna talk about the 4 teams eliminated in the second round and kind of looking forward to their futures. So it'll be a fun show. D, what it do?
What up, man? Well, that was a great intro. A lot of information that you just provided on that. Normally we'll do like the recap, but like you were like, hey, this is what we're gonna go over today. I was like, it's a lot of info. I like it.
I feel on point today. I feel like I'm gonna be listening. I got my listening ears on. I'm not gonna repeat what you said today. 30 seconds.
Well, I hope so. Yeah, that was, again, I thought it was hilarious, but for those that were listening, probably like, yo, he just said that. You know what I think I might do too? I just noticed this too. I think I'm gonna put a different jersey in the background every day, every time we stream. Why not? That one's that is the Rage. So no, that's the Admirals. So sorry, that was a semi-pro team. At some point, I'm gonna have all my jerseys up here on this wall. I just haven't done it yet. Literally behind it is the plaques for me to put the jerseys in. I'm just lazy. I just haven't done it yet.
How do you feel playing the semi-pro? Because I feel like at this age, I mean, not at this age, but back at the day,
Hell no, not at this age.
Beatings in the body you don't need.
Yeah, I mean, it was one of those things like you weren't ready to give the game up yet, so like I enjoyed playing it. It was very men's league. I don't like the word or the phrase semi-pro. Like, nah, it's men's league.
Yeah.
But like you still played against some really good people, so it was fun. It was definitely fun.
I'm trying to accomplish one of my life goals. Hopefully this summer. I gave it up for several years, and I'm going to try to do it again.
The gym?
Something about the gym. No, I go every day, but I've always wanted to dunk a basketball, and I'm not very tall. I'm 5'9". I'm not very tall. I actually was able to grab rim today at the gym, so I still got some hops. I need to get a little more juice in the legs to actually have some time to put the ball in the hoop, but that's been always one of my life goals. Like once in my life, dunk a basketball.
I would tear everything in my body if I tried to do that. Like just the momentum that you have to gain
before you leave the ground.
Oh yeah, before you leave the earth, I'm 100% positive I would tear everything in my lower body if I were to try that. So
imagine you just like winding up jumping and be like, "Oh, my back!"
I already do that now. I do that when I get up out of the chair. So no chance I'm done.
Do you have any of those like life goals that you like want to do that you feel like you're winding down time to do because of getting old?
I probably have to actually put some thought into that because like you put me on the spot for it. So
yeah.
No, I'm not at the current moment, but next week we'll talk about it.
Okay. I didn't mean to put you on a spot. D, tell me about all your goals in life now.
Yeah, I mean, I got some, but like something that like I want to accomplish before I get too old. I can't really think about that right now.
Fair enough. I also want to learn how to play the piano. I've been working on it.
That is a good one. That is a really good one. I would love for the girls to pick up the piano. Not physically, but,
Be beast.
Get their Alicia Keys on.
Doing some deadlifts of piano. I feel you. All right, let's talk some sports. Let's get out of this nonsense. So as I said on the jump, we're going to do on the front half of the show, talk about the actual conference finals, East-West. Back half, we're going to talk about teams that were eliminated. I do want to start with the Pacers and Knicks. I have to say, D, for the Knicks, couldn't have happened to the worst franchise. I honestly I was rooting for the Knicks to beat the Celtics because I'm a Celtics hater living in New England. And I'm not a Celtics fan, so I obviously going to be the ultimate hater. However, as soon as I saw the reaction from Knicks fans as they beat the Celtics, acting like they won the championship, I was just like, nah, I can't be about this life. So I'm full team Pacers in this matchup coming into the conference finals.
It's been 25 years. And like that's the problem. I know that you're not a New England fan, but like that's the problem with living in New England is the amount of championships that like people from New England were able to see. They forget that people go a very long time without having the chance to win. They didn't win championship, obviously, but like it's been 25 years. 1999 was the last time that they went to the Eastern Conference Finals. So like, let them be happy. I'm more impressed that Jalen Brunson went right into his interview. Just like, we haven't accomplished anything. Like, yeah, it was a good win, but we won the series. We have to focus on our next game, which is Indiana. So like, it's not the team, it's not anybody in the Knicks like organization. It's just the fans that are, lighting up the light poles or flipping off everybody that walks by, or like beating up Halliburton fans. Who?
Windhorse?
What? Did he get into a fight?
Knicks fans were like chucking bottles at the poor man.
Oh my goodness. I mean, why? He said the Knicks were going to win. It's so strange.
He wasn't fully complimentary to their taste.
Man, people are weird.
But
they went wild.
You remember the Knicks won one playoff game against the Hawks a few years ago, and they like lost their minds and then lost.
Yes, they did the same thing.
Lost 4 games straight after that.
I think they had just as much of a celebration when they won one game against the Hawks as when they won Game 6 against the Celtics.
It's how did that Hawks team made the Eastern Conference Finals?
They ran into LeBron.
They ran into LeBron's, but also like there was so much hype for those Hawks teams after that year, and they have been a playing team since.
No, then. they were a 1 seed they were like the Suns. Every single year they were a 1 seed, and then they ran into LeBron.
Well, no, this was I'm talking about the Hawks team.
Oh, you're talking about just now, the one with Trae Young. Oh, okay. When they made the Eastern Conference Finals, and then nothing happened.
How did that team make the Eastern Conference Finals?
Probably the same way that the Celtics did.
Anyways,
everybody was hurt.
I do want to talk about preview the series, Knicks versus Pacers. I have some notes of things that I'm interested in looking at going into the game on Wednesday.
Yep.
The first thing that really I want to watch as a fan, someone who enjoys basketball, is I know that Indianapolis has had this season one of the fastest paces of play. And historically, when you get in the playoffs, teams start to play a lot slower. This Indy team has, well, I mean, teams do typically.
No, but you're talking about Indiana, which they have not.
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to get to that. Is like they have not slowed down one bit. Mm-hmm. First thing I want to see is like who dictates the pace of play. Because I think it would benefit Indianapolis greatly to play up tempo, considering this Knicks team, while they only went to 6 in the first series and second series, we know Tibbs, right? He puts massive minute loads on these guys throughout the regular season and in the playoffs. I am thinking like, can Indy dictate the speed at which the series is played? Because I think that plays tremendously, right, to the Pacers' advantage. The idea of this Knicks team eventually wearing down from the long, grueling season in playoffs. Like that's the first thing I'm personally looking forward to watching as a fan.
I think if that were going to happen, it would have happened against the Celtics. I don't know if you can get to round 3 and say you're just burnt out. I think it's too late into it by now because like you're already just playing, right? And you're going to start getting the breaks that are needed. Yes, Indiana already, like they had a little bit longer of a break, but I don't think the Knicks play until Wednesday. So like they're right. Is there a series Wednesday or is it tomorrow?
They are Wednesday. Yeah.
Okay. So like, I think they got a decent amount of rest that is needed. You know what I'm saying? What I would say is the Cleveland series proved that Indiana is just going to run up and down the court, right? The Knicks are built to beat the Celtics. They got long defenders, right? They got people that can kind of stretch, but I don't know if they have people that are quick on their feet. And that's where you're going to get Halliburton. That's been, unfortunately, a menace to a lot of people. I think it was Andrew Nemhard has been up and down the court, and he's a smaller guard. He's not really a big wing. So like, can OG, can McCall, can these longer defenders stay with the quickness of Indiana? I don't know. Like we thought that the Cavs would be able to. They were injury plagued when they picked up DeAndre Hunter. That's part of it. And the same thing in round 1 where you're like, all right, maybe the Bucks can do something. And Indiana was like, no, we don't care about either one of you teams.
Yeah, and Indy is deep at the backcourt, like you mentioned. We know they have Tyrese. You mentioned Nemhard, TJ McConnell. You can have whatever opinion you want on him, but he's a good player. He plays with high intensity. They have Benedict Mathurin, and then if they wanted to throw in an additional body, maybe Aaron Nesmith could play some defense on Brunson. So I think they have a lot of guys they could throw at Brunson. And one of the things I do want to look at is we talked about the pace of play and how I think it will affect the Knicks and wear them down. You seem to disagree because you're like, it would kick in at this point. I just looked up the statistics on the Celtics pace of play for the regular season this year. They have one of the slowest paces of play, believe it or not. So like,
Yeah,
it's not
they're
a
ISO team.
yeah, that's not a team that's going to wear the Knicks down, unlike the Pacers. And the Knicks do like to play up tempo. Like their offense, at least against the Celtics, was mostly predicated on getting out and running against the Celtics. But we talked about some of these role players for the Pacers, and one of the things that I think is very interesting that they employed against the Cavaliers, with Donovan Mitchell being kind of recalled on to carry the load for this team, with Garland being
Injured. Yep.
injured most of the series, is they played like 95 feet of hell. I don't know if you know that old anecdote from
Yes.
I forget what college team implemented that philosophy, but more or less it's like, hey, we're gonna press you, or at least
Press.
press the ball handler up the court and just it doesn't is it gonna affect you like turning the ball over? No, but the idea is like I'm going to make you use energy the entirety of the game. And I think they have the bodies to do that to Brunson. They will probably attack him relentlessly on offense. And then defensively, they're going to throw bodies and bodies and bodies at him, especially McConnell. So I am curious in this series in particular. We saw that the Knicks shined against the Celtics in the fourth quarter, putting the ball in Brunson's hands. I wonder if the Pacers can do a better job of over the course of 5-6 games draining the life force out of Brunson with just relentless defense and increased pace of play.
It's going to be three people, essentially. You're going to see McConnell that's going to give him problems. You're going to see, not problems, but essentially having to have different bodies. Essentially, what we'll talk about in the Denver series is the Knicks run 6, maybe 7 people deep. The Pacers are at like 8 or 9. Just rotational players. Get them in, get you 10 minutes, get out. So you're going to see Matherin that's going to cover him. You're going to see, like you said, TJ and Tyrese isn't a bad defender. He's not like an all defensive player, but like he can play defense, right? It's different when you have who's the little dude that plays for the Celtics that they try to cover Brunson with.
Peyton Pritchard?
Yeah, like what are we doing? You know what I'm saying? And like I thought Drew Holiday and Derek White would have given problems. Brunson got them into the post. So like that's not their, I would say like key to playing successful defense. So it's going to be a big chess match as to how, Indiana covers Brunson, but Brunson's still going to find a way to get his offense off. And the key, I think, is going to be Cat at the end of the day. Depending on how he's going to dictate. You're going to get what you get from Brunson. He's going to get his 25 and above. He's going to get his 5 assists, 5 rebounds. If Cat can't dictate this series, New York will lose 100%.
Yeah, actually, that was one of my my last points that I'm interested in, and I'm glad you brought up Cat in this series. Is I wrote down Cat getting big versus Miles Turner, because I feel like athletically speaking, I probably would give the edge to the Pacers, right? Just based on up and down the court. I mean, not to say the Knicks are an unathletic team, but I like some of the Pacers athletes better as far as size, physicality, and the ability to get extra possessions on the glass. I think that favors the Knicks, and I'm curious what type of Cat we'll see. This Knicks team often, rolls with however Cat is playing. And if he decides to play passive, settle for jump shots, settle for that moniker, I'm the best the best 3-point shooting big man of all time. I think that plays right into the hands of the Pacers. I would rather see Cat play physical, get in the post, and attack down low. And he did that against the Celtics quite a bit, especially against Al Horford, and it was excellent for him. And I think I'm a Miles Turner fan. I'm glad to see what he's done with his career and kind of went from being like a perennial trade piece to
always on the trade block,
a core part of this group. But I do think Cat has a physical advantage over Turner, size wise, and probably quickness in the post. And I'm curious, can they bait Cat into going away from that type of play?
So there was, you have to stat check me on this one. I'm like 99% positive that the team that won the points in the paint battle in the Celtics Knicks series won the game. Like that was as much as both teams want to shoot threes, as much as the Celtics want to shoot threes. Like I knows 5 out of 6. It's that 6th game that I'm not sure. Not talking about game 6, but the 6th game in that series. That's going to be huge because Indiana likes to shoot, right? So if Cat can back down, and what he did in game 6 was be much more physical in the paint, finishing, getting in ones, making it easier for people to kick out if you have to. That's going to cause a little bit of a skirmish for Indiana because we saw it with the Celtics. If the 3 isn't there, and the Pacers are going to get their shots, they're going to. They just run fast. But if the 3 isn't there, and you have to play to the slow down game of the Knicks, you start to press. And I want to talk about like full court press. I'm talking I have to hit this shot because they have a guaranteed 2 on the other side. So that's where you play that chess match of they might not hit as many threes as Indiana. They're just going to be more efficient in the paint.
And I'm curious, just from like a matchup perspective, how this will play out. Because another point that I want to make about this series and how it differs greatly from the previous series for New York is like we obviously went into the playoffs thinking the Celtics were the top dog in the East, and for various reasons they didn't come through. But this Pacers team plays very different than the Celtics. Particularly, like let's talk about the Celtics. Like they like to take a lot of threes, and when the threes are not falling, they like to do a lot of isolation. They don't have a true point guard in the Celtics, right?
Mm-hmm.
Juxtapose that to the Pacers, who are, I don't know how to describe them, but they are very point guard oriented. Where while Tyrese Halliburton can take any shot he would like, he can make circus threes. He is a true old school point guard who is trying to set up passes. He's not just throwing it to an open man. He's always looking at his options and keeping options open. That being said, I think it's very important for New York in this series to not only do a good job defending Tyrese and preventing him from getting his shot, but cutting out as many options as possible. So like having matchups solid like throughout the series is important. Talking about the matchups, so like Cat, right? So the starters for New York are Towns, Anunoby, Bridges, Brunson, and Hart, right? You're gonna say Cat's probably in Miles Turner. So that's your matchup for Cat. I'm guessing Siakam. So Siakam's and then we'll talk about the Pacers lineup. Siakam is going to be playing the 4 for the Pacers. I'm guessing that's Anunoby on Siakam.
Yeah.
So then we're talking
because
about,
you're not going to put Mitchell Robinson out there. I don't think you're going to do the 4-5 swap, at least not early.
Yeah, and then I think it's Nembhard. Is Nembhard the 2 or the 3? Let me just check their stars real quick. Nembhard, Neesmith, and Halliburton.
Neesmith's 2.
Okay, you're probably hiding Jalen Brunson on Neesmith. You're not going to put Jalen Brunson, Halliburton, or Nembhard.
No.
So that leaves you with Nembhard and Halliburton, with Josh Hart and Mikal Bridges. I'm guessing Mikal Bridges guards Tyrese Halliburton.
Yes.
Because they want their best defender on him. It's a good matchup. And then Hart on Nembhard. That's an interesting.
That's a wash for that's a wash for a matchup. Josh Hart is a better playmaking rebounder. Nembhard will be a better shooter.
Yeah. With that being the matchups, I wonder if Nembhard has a big series against the Knicks, because he's been cooking in these playoffs, and
Pacers have been cooking, man.
Yeah, in theory, that should be a very good matchup for the Knicks, because getting Mikal Bridges, like, I know it hasn't been the most successful season for him in New York, but he is thought of as like a premier wing defender, and he has the size to match up well with Halliburton.
Yeah, I mean, it's not. I don't even think it's really going to come down to matchups. I honestly think it's just going to come down to who can execute better at their style of play. The Pacers have the most. I think they have the highest 3-point percentage in the postseason. Like they are a very hot team. But the Knicks are going to beat you down in the paint, play underneath the 3-point line, and take more of a guaranteed shot versus the big explosive shot. And that's what brought them back in, the 20-point leads with the Celtics. The Knicks weren't splashing threes. They were just, the Celtics took a 3, Knicks came down and hit a layup. Celtics took a 3, Knicks hit a mid-range. Celtics took a 3, when they got to the free throw line. Like they didn't come back from shooting threes. They just came back by playing efficient. So that's what I'm saying. The matchups are going to be cool because like it's going to see who can play the chess match better. But I think it's going to come down to who can execute their style of play is going to win this series. If New York can slow the pace down, beat them up in the paint, kick out and let Brunson do his thing in the fourth, they will win this series. If Indiana just says, we don't care about how anybody plays us, we're playing our style of basketball, you got to catch up to our 120 points per game, Indiana's going to win. So it's really going to be determined by that.
And I do love how Indiana this entire playoffs has had that, like, we don't give a fuck attitude.
It's amazing.
They can be down with 1% chance of winning, and they don't give up, and they just fight tooth and nail. They play in the 1 seed. We're the 4 seed, or I forget the 4 or the 5 seed. Pacers. We don't give a fuck.
Nope.
When they have a 12-point lead, what does this team do? Oh, we're gonna stomp your neck out. Like, we don't give a fuck. They're the anti-Celtics who fall asleep at the wheel at times, and I don't think. I think the Knicks have played okay. They haven't been really, to be honest with you, great this postseason, especially against the Celtics. The Celtics shot themselves in the foot a lot. Now, granted, the Knicks were great in Game 6.
Yes,
the Celtics. They were legitimately great. But first couple games where they ended by winning because the Celtics blew 20-point leads, like the Knicks did not play great. And that's all to say. This is the Knicks have to play good every game to beat the Pacers, because the Pacers are not going to shoot them in the foot.
100%. Yes,
I'm with them, by the way. They're capable of doing it.
What, the Celtics? I mean, the Pacers or the Knicks?
The Knicks are capable of playing.
Yeah, 100%. And like I think the way that, we don't get too much on just this matchup because we have 3 others.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
I think the floor of the Knicks is higher than the Pacers, but I think the ceiling of the Pacers, if they get hot, man, like they were on pace one game for 170 points. Like, what can you do against that besides just say, I hope it's not even just saying missing threes. Like, I just hope they stop missing shots, because Halliburton is distributing. And even if he doesn't get the assist, he's getting the hockey assist with setting somebody else up to have everybody have to rotate, and then Nembhard's wide open or Neesmith's wide open because of it. Or it gets back to Halliburton and he takes his ugly ass jump shot and it's a wide open 3.
All right, so Zay's got the Knicks. I don't know if you want to give a number of games. Zay, do you and me before the series start, because this game's going to start. The series is going to start on Wednesday. I need your prediction and the number of games.
You talking to me?
Yeah.
So I'm going to say Knicks in 6 again.
Wow.
I think this is the year that this is the year. I love Halliburton.
They're going to do it on the road, huh?
No, I think they can. No, they're going to be the home team. No, they are. It will be away on Game 6. You're right. I think you're seeing something special with Jalen Brunson. His closing ability is incredible. You're also seeing a flip of the guard. I don't know if it's going to be league wide, but Josh Hart, Jalen Brunson, OG Anunoby, and Mikal Bridges, they shoot the mid range. Cat is their 3-point shooter. I'm not saying the whole league is going to switch to it, but they are. Watch them play, getting into the paint, shimmy, mid range, turning around the screen, mid range at the top of the free throw line. Brunson, step back. You think he's shooting a 3, gets back into the free throw line, mid range. That shot it's the reason why they came back against the Celtics. But that mid range shot is so efficient for this team. If the Pacers can't hit their threes and can't play their fast-paced offense, you have to worry about the field goal percentage of the Knicks, and I think that's where they win in this one.
I'm going Pacers in 7.
Ooh, 7.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a very close series.
Yeah,
and I don't think the Pacers are at all afraid of winning a game on the road. They actually Tyrese Halliburton is the ultimate wrestling heel.
Yes.
He loves getting the boos. It motivates him in a different way than Luka. Like, Luka gets pissed and angry, and Tyrese just like smiles.
He just laughs. He's like, all right.
So I got Pacers in 7, and Tom Thibodeau has never made a NBA Finals, and there's a reason why. He runs his team to the ground. I think the wheels fall out on against the Pacers. I predict that's going to be one of those series where they start losing bodies by Game 4.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll see. We'll see. Let's move on and talk about the other Western Conference, or the other West Conference, the other conference final, the Western Conference one between the Thunder and Timberwolves. This will be a goodish one. Let me just ask you this, D. And these were the odds before the show. They were the odds probably at 1 p.m. today. If you had to guess what the odds were for this conference finals without looking, the Thunder are favorited. Yeah, whatever.
Yep.
Minus what the Thunder odds are.
I think it's gonna be a close series, so minus 200.
I'd have to check again just to verify, but as of like 1 p.m. today, they were minus 330.
Okay, so that means that they're expecting it to be kind of one-sided.
Yeah,
Really?
The like very heavy favorites, the Thunder over the Timberwolves.
Dang.
It's interesting. I will say this.
The Knicks were plus 600 going into that Celtics series. I wish I should have just bet on it just because of the odds, but hindsight.
I did not see that one coming. The biggest thing I want to look for in the Thunder Timberwolves is this regular season and the playoffs. This Thunder team has excelled and led the league in forced turnovers. This is a team with all of their depth and all of their excellent guard play, headlined by a guy like Alex Caruso, which shout out to him for his game 7 against Jokic. But they have done an excellent job forcing turnovers and getting easy buckets off turnovers. The Timberwolves, we know historically, has been a team that has brain farts and mental lapses, especially Anthony Edwards and Julius Randle, who are two guys that we know can turn the ball over, can make poor decisions, and become black holes on offense. My biggest thing I'm looking for in this series is, does Anthony Edwards and Julius Randle go back to their old ways? Because they have to play excellent possession ball. Like, that's a poor way to put it. They have to be very careful with the ball in this series because the Thunder will feast on turnovers. And again, Ant has been prone in the past to get panicked when they throw multiple bodies at him and make terrible decisions. That's my biggest thing, because I think if the Timberwolves can hold the turnovers to a below average number, they have a very good shot of winning the series. But if their turnover number is average to worse, Thunder are going to wipe the floor at them.
I think if game 7, and I know that the Nuggets were depleted, so it sucks, but I think if game 7 were a close game, I would have given more of an edge to the T-Wolves. But the Thunder blitzed Denver. We saw what the best of OKC Thunder could be, and that's scary because Shea was playing incredible offense. Chet was playing incredible defense at contesting people at the rim. And this little guy, I don't even want to say little guy, this dude, him being Timothy McCaruso, which the Lakers let him go, he is going to be a problem for Ant Edwards. I don't care. I love how Ant Edwards' game is. Caruso played like a champion on Sunday. And that when you get that type of play off of your bench, that is what's scary. The Nuggets, they fell flat because of injury. I think OKC is going to throw so many different matchups at Ant Edwards that it's going to cause, like you said, for him to speed up. And I think that's going to play into the advantage of OKC because that was their peak. That game 7 goes to show you how good they can actually be, which is what they did in the regular season to everyone. So that's scary on my end, where I would love to see Ant Edwards win. This Thunder team is legit right now.
They're good. I'm also curious what happens with Rudy. This is a constant discussion with Rudy Gobert. The idea of teams are going to try to shoot him off the court.
Yep.
And this Thunder team is absolutely capable of it. And one of the dangerous things is that, all right, so
Chet's going to pull.
Chet can stretch the floor. The only non-shooter they would play is Hartenstein.
Yes.
And he will play, but there'll be instances where there's all shooters on the floor, including Chet. in the past, it's been hard like to play just Chet, and they tried that against the Nuggets, where Chet, I think in game 1, Chet guarded Jokic, and Jokic just put him in the basket.
Yes.
While Rudy Gobert is a big man, a large, strong man, he has no offensive game. Like that's for all the
unless he's playing the fucking Lakers, because
Yeah.
apparently we play the Lakers, he put up 30.
But for all the shit that people want to give Gobert for like his defense and be like, oh, he just backpedals on defense. He's defensive liabilities at times. The real knock at him, because he's been okay on defense this year, even in mismatches. The real knock at him is offensively, he's challenged. There'll be times where he's even open under the basket, and Edwards would look at him and be like, I don't know, buddy, just go elsewhere with it. And he's not going to punish a guy like Chet, who he has a weight mismatch on.
Yep.
So I'm curious to see, like, are there going to be instances where they play Gobert off the floor? I mean, it's not the worst scenario because they have Naz Reid, who's awesome in his own right. But I'm curious to follow that matchup throughout the series as well and see what happens there.
It's going to come down to what Jaden McDaniels can do, because a lot of the attention is going to be on Julius Randle and Edwards. Obviously, Jaden McDaniels wasn't at his best this series. I'm not saying that he played bad, but he wasn't at his best. He wasn't at what we saw that got them to the Western Conference Finals last year, and because of the amount of bodies that you're going to be able to throw at Edwards, and then just the matchups that you're going to have, the matchup that you're going to be able to have with Randall, you're probably just going to keep Jalen Williams. Not Jalen Williams. The other one. No, it is Jalen Williams. They got 2 Jalen Williams, right? That's what's bothering me.
J Dubs, yeah. The
yes, they got. I think they got 2.
J Dubs is the perimeter, and then they call him. Then Jalen Williams, the big Jalen Williams, is the center.
The one that plays, the one that starts, not the one that comes off the bench.
Yeah,
you can just match him and Randall up against each other, which gives 2 to 3 different people to throw at Ant. The person that's got to take advantage of his matchup, it's got to be Jaden McDaniels. He's a little bit more offensively gifted. Naz Reid really only has a 3-point shot, like, and it's ugly too. But like, if he's not on, it does go in. I don't know how, but if Naz Reid isn't on, you got to have a second or tertiary score, because Randall is going to be matched up with a great defender in Jalen. Ant's going to get Lou Dort, Caruso, and most likely, and still Shea. Like, he's still going to get him. And then you got to worry about Jaden McDaniels actually doing something. So, like, that's where the match. I know we didn't talk much about the matchups with the Pacers. Knicks, this one I think is going to be more important.
Who'd you have guarding Edwards?
It's going to be either Lou.
I think it's Lou.
Yeah. Well, I know it's going to be Lou starting. I'm saying, but throwing at him, it's going to be times where you got Lou, you're going to have Caruso, and you're going to have Shea on him.
Maybe Case and Wallace too a little bit.
They got they are deep. That team
really good. They have the Thunder have guys who are their like 9th, 10th guy off the bench who would legitimately start for some NBA team.
Or 6 man, 100%.
Yeah, like this team's insane, man. Especially with the new rules and people like this. We'll talk about later, like the Celtics having to cut salary. They have so many guys under rookie, contracts that.
Presti, baby. Presti did it right. This man drafted everybody on this team.
And then I wanted something Zay was throwing out about the foul merchant getting locked up by Jaden McDaniels. They'll definitely try to match up SJ with a guy like Jaden McDaniels. But I actually think one of their strategies would be playing a lot of zone. Mm-hmm. And the Nuggets kind of unlocked that a little bit in the last series. The Nuggets employed a lot of zone against the Thunder, and it actually gave them a lot of trouble cutting down a lot of slashing lanes that SGA could get to the hoop from. And a little interesting fact about the Timberwolves I heard on the Hoop Collective today, I think it was When Horses podcast, is the Timberwolves have only run zone like 128 times this year. Like, so 128 possessions they've run zone on defense. They've run zone against the Thunder, I think it was like 68 times of those 128 times. So like they like running zone against the Thunder, and the Nuggets have shown that to be an effective strategy to slow them down. So I would expect to see a lot of zone defense from the Timberwolves. So I don't know if there'll be a lot of like one-on-one lockdown against SGA, but I think they'll employ a lot of zone in there as well.
They took 2 out of 3 in the regular season.
Yeah, so I think one of them was a weird back-to-back, though, to be honest.
Yes, it was the 23rd and 24th, and then that 24th, it went into overtime. So, like,
okay. Yeah.
Yeah, they're definitely strange for matchup wise, but yeah, I mean, I'm not saying that Minnesota can't win, but like I can't bet on both, right? I can't say both teams are going to win. That's why I got to say that I think OKC is taking this.
Let me
But
ask you this.
yeah,
If I may, a very targeted question. I think we both agree, and Vegas also agrees. Minus 330 favorites to win the series of Thunder. We both, if we had a gun to our head, we pick the Thunder.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. Fill in the blank. For the Timberwolves to win this series, blank has to happen. Like
And
how does
Edwards,
Timberwolves win it?
and Edwards has to go nuclear. I'm talking 40, 45 points in like 3 out of 4 games.
Okay.
I think that's the only way that he can't average 19 points a game and then win this series. They don't have enough firepower for that.
I would say I think that's one path to victory for the Timberwolves. I would also counter and say, because I think if just Edwards goes off, they will throw as much shit at Edwards to keep the Thunder ahead. I would say Julius Randle has to play like an all-star. Like, because he's played
good. He played really good against Denver. I'll give him that.
To have that second option with all-star caliber talent, right? They need to have some excellent output from him, from Julius Randle. That is, I think. So if my fill in the blank is for the Timberwolves to win, Julius Randle has to play all-star caliber, and that means for me, statistic-wise, like averaging 18 points a game, 8 rebounds, 7 assists.
I mean, he was above that against
low turnovers.
Warriors.
Yeah, but like do that again against the Thunder.
Not the low turnovers, but that's the problem though, is you can't. He averaged 4 turnovers a game against Golden State. You cannot do that as a one person. And Ant's probably, I'd have to look at Ant's, but Ant's probably around 3. You can't give this team an extra 7-8 possessions from your 2 best players, because it's an automatic bucket the other way. Like easy dunk. Jalen Williams is R1 circle. I'm down the court. Just throw it to me. And Caruso, Shea is on the break and throwing a lob to somebody, because they're that fast. So like I'm with you with the points. He can also average 18. He averaged 26, like 25 against Golden State. So like he can do it. Like he had a really great series. But he cannot average 4 turnovers a game. That will kill them. That will kill all of the momentum that they have if they're up or if they're coming back, and boom, turnover. 2 or 3 possessions go, boom, turnover. Like that will kill this team.
I think the Thunder had forced somewhere in the fourth quarter against the Nuggets in Game 7, somewhere around 22, 23 turnovers at that point, which is insane.
I just looked at Ant's. Yeah, Ant's he's 3. I said he was around 3. He's 3.
That's not terrible. Like if he gets,
but he has 7 against Golden State in a game.
Yeah, you can't do
that.
All right, your prediction, because we did the Eastern Conference Final. Blank in how many games?
I'm going OKC in 7. I think this goes 7.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going OKC in 6.
I think you're gonna get because everybody wants to say it, but like,
I almost want to say. By the way, I almost want to be disrespectful and say OKC in 5, but I'm not going to do it.
I don't think it's like that. I don't think it's that lopsided. There's a difference when you have a dude over there. Like, I don't even want to say that because it's gonna be disrespectful. Ant Edwards is a dude.
What's the series spread?
That is the guy that like he can win you a game himself. So I would give them. If it goes 7, it's because Game 6 was a close win for one of the teams. Like that's Game 5.
Vegas has OKC in 6 games at minus 140. So, yeah, they like OKC in 6.
If it ends in 6, it's because somebody missed a game-winning shot in Game 6. That's what I would say.
All right, let's pivot off this, do a quick Grizz's 5, and then we'll talk about the 4 teams that have already been eliminated from the playoffs. I just need to find my sounder before we hit up Grizz's 5, which I just found now.
Welcome to a segment so unique, so entertaining, and definitely not a rip-off of Frizz's 5. And even if it's a rip-off of Frizz's 5, it's probably way better. It's time to rank some stuff with Trudeau. It's time for Grizz's 5.
All right, I will try to keep this quick just because time. We always say we're gonna do an hour-long show, and it's like 3 hours. So I want to do a top 5 list for you guys, UD and those watching. I want to do top 5 things that slowly and quietly disappeared from like the 2000s, like from our youthful days, like things that just kind of disappeared off in the faded off in the distance. We didn't even know disappeared.
Okay.
All right. Once you start hearing a couple, you'll see where I'm coming with this. Let me find my little yay. Oh, it's the same sound. All right. If you have a yay, you can hit it. But
Gotcha.
number 5, fast food play places. Gone.
Fast food what?
Play places like McDonald's. McDonald's, you just have like the ball pit and like you climb. As a kid, you climb up all those tubes and stuff. You ever been to a fast food place anymore? There's no play things ever. They're gone.
So there's a few that still do, and it like catches me off guard because I'm like, yo, they got rid of all the ball pits and all that, like for a reason. But yes, they did kind of just like slowly fade away because people.
This is the theme, like things that just kind of like you're like, hey, where did those go?
It's strange. Yeah, I'm with you on that one. That's a good one.
Okay.
You can do the applause. I don't want to overtake what you got.
No, you can do it for now.
Okay, got you.
Number 4, CDs, burning CDs, anything with the CD. I haven't seen a CD in like 7-8 years. Spotify, Apple Music, it killed the CD industry. Why would you ever buy a CD? Maybe vinyls because people think they're niche, but like I haven't seen a CD since like the 2020s.
So you missed that by 10 years by saying Spotify and Apple Music. Like people stopped using CDs when the iPod came out. Like that's it wasn't like it slowly went away. There was an abrupt stop. Yeah, like it didn't just fade away. It was like hit a wall, like a car crash. It stopped literally. That one I don't agree with, but I see where you're going with this.
Don't agree with that one?
No, there was no fading away for CDs.
Okay,
they just stopped.
All right. I like my number 2 and number 1. My number 3. This one's a good one. My number 3 thing that just disappeared. Car cigarette lighters. Do you remember those things? I used to always, like as a kid, press it down and like pull it out, just like burning orange hot. I love doing that. Those things, they just slowly faded away. You could not find a car nowadays that has a car cigarette lighter. No chance.
You're right. That one I will agree with. It was strange too because like they have the no smoking signs in like rental cars, but like then you would have that in there. You'd be like, what? I literally have a thing like I can light my cigarette in here. Why would you tell me I can't smoke? I don't smoke, obviously, but I used to work at Hertz, and I'd be like, people would say that, like, why do you have this in here? And I'd be like, I didn't make the car, man. Like, I just work here. Like, come on. But yes, that's a good one.
My last 2 I really like. Number 2 thing that just slowly disappeared, the phone call. I find myself getting annoyed when people call me. Do you get annoyed when people call you on the phone?
To an extent, but I enjoy a good phone conversation over texting. So like I'm with it. It definitely did stop. Not even just stop, like slowly disappear because people, like you just said, yeah. Like I was one of those that I was a yo man. Why are you texting me? Just call me. Like I was team like
okay.
Don't let it go.
Like gotcha.
Yeah, I would for a very long time. Like I was like, why are we on MySpace? Like I have AIM. Like why are we on Facebook? I have MySpace. Why are we on this? I have that. Like I was that type of person. So yeah,
like why you got the phone? I got like 2 cans and a piece of string. All right, my number one thing that slowly disappeared. This is my favorite.
Okay.
These things were so hot in the early 2000s. They were the shit. Everyone was just dumping money on them. You got to get the newest, latest. You got to get the latest ringtone on your phone, man. Ringtones are dead. When's the last time you heard a ringtone? When was the last time you heard a phone ring?
Yeah, no, right? That actually does, like, I will perk up and be like, yo, whose phone is that? Whenever I hear someone's ringer. But yes, a ringtone itself, that's...
Yo, that shit was so hot back in the day.
When you get old, you stop getting ringtone. Not even old. You got to college and you're like, I can't really have my phone be like Icebox from Omarion. Like, what do we do?
Dog, the ringtone game made Soulja Boy so much money. Like that's what put Soulja Boy on the map.
Yeah. He also had that "Kiss Me Through the Phone" song, which
Yep.
helped. Good. I don't mind that one. Ringtones, they definitely did slowly. I mean, you can still get them. People can still put them on their phones. It's just it's weird when you
When
hear a
was the last time?
song and it's somebody's phone that's ringing.
When was the last time you heard a phone in public or a ringtone,
I
especially?
hear phones all the time.
Okay, damn.
Old people have to have their phone on. Like, yeah, think about it that way. Okay, I got one for you. I'm
Go ahead.
surprised you missed it. It's along the lines of you had said the phone ringing. I got one that like most people are like, yo, man, what the hell? And it's weird that it flipped. It's the doorbell ring. Like somebody ringing your doorbell. You used to be like, oh, somebody's here. Now somebody rings your doorbell, like, who the fuck is ringing my doorbell? Like people don't want company as much as they used to. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Like you go look like who's here. But I think that's one that like in the 90s, somebody knocks on your door, rings your doorbell, you're like, oh, come in. You don't even know who it is. You just like, oh yeah, somebody's here, come in. Now you're just like, that better be an Amazon delivery. Like, who's knocking on my door? Who the hell made my dog bark?
There's always
like,
someone trying to sell me some shit.
yeah, exactly. You know what I'm saying? So it's I think that at least for me, that's a good one.
I'm a coward, by the way. When it's someone trying to sell me some shit, I'll peek out from like my second floor and be like, nah, I ain't going to the door.
That's so messed up. I used to be one of those guys.
I know you were. I'm sorry.
I listened to everybody's pitch.
Sorry.
And then I critique them, and I'm like, this is where you should have shook my hand.
I'm sure they love that. Love that.
I'm like, I'm sitting there, and like, I'll wait, and like, I'll let people pitch, and I'll like, unless I actually am working. Like, if I'm actually doing something like him, and I don't got the time. But if I can see that they got time, I'll be like, are you gonna hit every house here? I'll let them do their pitch, and I'm like, you should have shook my hand by now. And they're like, huh? And I'm like, I don't even know who you are. They're like, oh, my name is. It literally just rang. Who the hell is ringing my doorbell at 9:00?
You better go critique.
It better be Amazon.
You better go critique them on some shit on their pitch. So the motherfucker's trying to sell you some shit, and instead of buying stuff, you're giving them advice on how to sell shit.
And it's probably pissing them off.
Right. Let's move on to the team features because I know that you are hard pressed on time. We'll get out of here, okay? Everyone's favorite team future, the Boston Celtics. And actually, just for the audience, what we're going to do is go over the 4 teams eliminated in the second round and kind of look at their future plans as far as what their next steps are. Mm-hmm. Celtics are first D. This one has a lot of implications. Jason Tatum tears his Achilles in Game 5 of the second round. They already had issues with the salary cap facing them next season. They were going to be pressed up against and over the second apron once all the contracts kick in. I will say this, something's going to have to give this offseason. I've heard a lot of different theories about what the approach could be. D, I'll let you start with this one.
This one's scary. And this isn't even coming from a place of like people like, oh, you're a Lakers fan, you hate the Celtics. No, hear me out. We saw back in 2023, what did the Bucks owner do when they won their championship?
2023.
What right out? Did they win in 2022?
They sold their team, right? Is what
there you go.
Yeah.
So what did Wick do after they won their championship?
He's a brilliant man for selling his team at the highest possible spot.
This is the scary spot because what did we just? I know I'm asking a lot of questions, but what did we just see in Dallas? We saw Dallas get rid of their best player because they didn't want to pay the apron, right? The Celtics are in that spot where they have new ownership. They have a superstar that is not playing next season. He might be back by February. You know what I'm saying? That's a very long time.
I'd be surprised.
And like even if he like I wouldn't rush him back. I'd be like, Tatum, take your time. Like we're not winning the championship without you. Take your time. That now puts a lot of pressure on Derek White. That puts a lot of pressure on Drew Holiday. Al Horford, gone. Porzingis, gone. You're going to see this team flipped on its head roster-wise because this new ownership, the way that the league is going, is they don't want to pay people. And the Celtics have one of the most expensive rosters in the NBA.
I may.
Yeah.
You put it, they don't want to pay people. And I think some ownership is true. Like there are some cheap owners that don't want to pay
ownership. I'm not saying old. I'm saying new.
But I just want to preface this by saying like there are teams that their ownership doesn't like to pay the luxury tax. It's extra money out of their pocket. You have to understand, like this new world, the new CBA with those second aprons, those 2 aprons. it's known that second apron is actually more like a hard cap. Like being over that second apron, while you can go over it, it completely derails your front office. Like you lose draft picks, you can't sign people. Like it's functions as a hard cap. And the Celtics are going to be way over that. Like, yes, can you go over that second apron if your team is like already set and you feel like you can win? Sure. Like you can do that for a year. But in the Celtics situation, it's like, do you think you're going to win the title next year with Jason Tatum out and Al Horford aging out, Porzingis with like this mystery illness and all the other things going on? No, it's so they need to look at themselves in the mirror and figure out what they want to do. So I'm not trying to like disagree with your point. I'm just saying like I don't want to put it out like, oh, these owners are just being greedy. Because with this second apron, it's like your team flexibility and like constructing a roster is just completely fucked at that point.
I mean, it's fair. I didn't know about the whole draft compensation. I know that you pay a shit ton for being in above that luxury, that apron. I know that, but I didn't know that like it messes with you compensation wise.
If you're over the second apron, like consecutive years, that second year you lose your first round pick. They take it from you.
Ooh.
So it's not like you can be like, well, we can just hold on to our picks and like add to a roster that way. They pretty much just give you the middle finger and say, yeah.
They're saying legit, if you're paying these people, you're not doing anything.
You're not getting anything else. You can't sign people. You can't do anything. So it's like it's a hard cap without being a hard cap.
Right. It's one of those like we can't do this. We can't allow our team. And that's why I prefaced this by saying I am not talking in Celtics hate. I am talking just salary cap wise because of the Tatum injury. If they just lose in 7 or they lose in 6 is different. But him being out for 90% of next season, where they might, if they're like the 10th seed, they're not gonna bring him back. You know what I'm saying? Like they're gonna go ahead.
The second apron number, I'm sorry to keep cutting you off. The second apron number this year is $188 million. So I anticipate it to go up a little more next year. So let's just say 188 million is the cutoff.
Isn't Celtics at like 400 to 500 million?
Next year, their raw payroll is 228 million. Sorry. So they're $40 million over. I mean, with the luxury tax, that number is going to balloon to like $500 million paid by the owner. But they're $40 million over that like death nail number.
They're in trouble.
Yeah,
they're in some serious trouble. That injury may have like, and we talk about windows a lot. I don't want to say that you got Tatum on your team. I think your window's still open. But with this nuclear, I think that Tatum injury just shut the door. I think you got to find a way to creak that some bitch back open at some point in the next 2 or 3 years. But I think that window that we just saw of the Celtics being the best team in the NBA because of the championship they won last year, I think that shit is shut now.
So I've heard this thought experiment today, and I'm curious what your thought is. So if you're the Celtics, there's a couple ways to approach this, right? So Tatum's gone next year. We're thinking about 26, 27, right? As far as like, all right, let's go for a championship again. Do you think if you're the Celtics front office, if you're Brad Stevens, if your core is Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, and Derek White, is that good enough as a core to win a championship and you can figure stuff around there?
No. Not in the East.
So that's where it gets tricky. Because if you don't believe that core can win a championship, you need to think about trading off a guy like Jaylen Brown or Derek White to get assets to then retool and re-add to that core and come back again. Because by the time we're talking about 26, 27 when Tatum is back, we're looking at a Porzingis who's probably gone off the books. We're looking at a Drew Holiday who's 36 years old. So those guys are not going to help you at all. So if we're talking about White, Brown, and Tatum, and we're basing this on Tatum's my centerpiece, it would make sense if you don't think that core can win to trade away Brown and White like now while their value is high.
I said they were going to get rid of Brown.
Get assets. So you're pro Brown because that does.
I don't want that to happen. Yeah. I'm saying if they're looking at their future, they have to get rid of him. And it sucks to think about it, but like you're not winning a championship with them next year. You hit me with this whole more derailing is the word that you used for being in the second apron. I just thought that they got heavily fined and would make owners be like, I don't want to pay that. But like, you're talking about them docking first round draft picks.
Yeah.
Like that now that moves what you can actually move as an asset. You know what I'm saying? Where you combine Brown and Drew and a couple first, and you go get Giannis. You can't do that because of their salary cap for next year. Like that sucks. So yeah, I don't want them to. I don't want them to. I'm not saying that they're going to, but you take a hard look at this and go, if Tatum's our future, we're not winning a championship next year, we ought to be thinking about 2026, 2027.
Yeah, I mean, at the very least, you have to find a way to move off Drew Holiday, because if you're not going to compete next year, he's going to be 35. He's making 30. He's making 33 million next year. Shout out to Drew Holiday's agent.
I mean, got a couple championships. Is Drew Holiday Hall of Famer? Let's not go down that rabbit hole, but I think he is.
Probably. I have to look at his full body work, but he's got a lot of all-stars, 2 championships, 2 different teams. Probably, yeah.
He's got a lot of all-defensive teams, too, especially when he was back in Philly.
He's a Hall of Famer.
Good for him.
And I think he was with Team USA. He won a gold medal, too, right?
Even better. Good for him.
He's a Hall of Famer. Yeah, it's going to be fascinating what happens with the Celtics over the next year and a half, 2 years, to see where they end up. I want to just make sure we cover the other teams.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about the Cavaliers. They had a surprising season. Like, no one thought they'd be the 1 seed. And it's weird because if you told me before the year, you didn't tell me what the Cavs record was. You just said, hey, the Cavs made it to the second round, and they lost in 5 games, I would say. That's kind of disappointing, but like, all right, it's not that far off from what I expected. Like, I'd be surprised if the Cavs made the Eastern Conference Finals, I guess. Second round sounds right. But based on them winning all those games and being the 1 seed, super disappointing outcome. There's 2 schools of thought on this Cavs thing, right? The first school of thought could be glass half full. Like, hey, like, we just got shit injury luck at the end of the season. Our main guy, Darius Garland, who handled the ball, was a shell of himself. He was hobbling around with turf toe. Donovan was hurt last game. We missed Mobley for a game. Like, this is just, it was just not our series. And we blew a game against the Pacers we should have won in game 2. So, like, the roster itself's fine. We'll figure it out. When the second school of thought is, hey, we just keep being disappointed with this team. Like, should we consider shaking this up to get over the top? And I'm curious where you land on this.
The latter. Because I love Spida, and I don't want to see him have to go anywhere. At some point, he needs to realize that he's a 2. He's an amazing scorer. You are not going to win very many games in the playoffs off of a 6'3" slashing shooting guard. Sorry. If he were more of like the play setter, that would be one thing, but he's not. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's out there to get a bucket. He'll throw some passes here and there. He's not Jalen Brunson, who's running an offense. You get the ball to Mitchell, he's trying to get the ball in the bucket. That can't be your best player on this roster. Maybe it follows through suit with, like, we saw Devin Booker do it in Phoenix, right? Devin Booker is a pseudo point guard, shooting guard. He happened to be the best player on that Phoenix team to bring them to the NBA Finals, being a scorer and kind of a playmaker, right? So it's not like it can't happen, but I don't see it. I don't see it happening with Mitchell because he's not really a shooter, and teams force him to shoot when he's struggling. He's in trouble, but when he's hot, it's good. Like, he still averaged, I think, 30 in this series. So it's not like he did it like bad that way, but he can't be. He's shown when he was in Utah and now with Cleveland, when he's the number 1 option, he can't get that done. And I think Cleveland may look at this and be like, he wasn't able to get out of the second round in Utah. We're in the same spot here in Cleveland. Like, what do we do with our team? If Garland's really not it, Mobley, sure, like, he's a good piece to have, but like, you're not winning a championship. You're not even really competing for a championship with this roster.
I'm glad you mentioned Mobley, because it sounds like Mobley, you're not super high on him.
Not really.
All right.
I know he had a great season But in a defensive player of the year,
I heard this thrown out on the Bill Simmons podcast today. It's hypothetical, just throwing random trades out. Because we know the Bucks are in a pickle with Giannis. If the Bucks came to the Cavs and said Mobley for Giannis,
yes,
you're the Cavs. You're like, yep,
yeah, 100%.
because it kind of makes sense.
Because there's
for
your
both
two.
teams.
There's your now Donovan is the number 2 option, like I just said.
Yeah, it kind of makes sense for both teams because if you're the Bucks, you don't own your first round pick. So like going full tank and
Doesn't help.
just grabbing draft picks doesn't help. You want some young player to build around. And I think Mobley's I'm high on Mobley. He's been excellent. I think he might be an all NBA player this year. He just got all defense.
Defensive player of the year. He should be an all NBA.
Yeah, he's 23, so he's young. You can build around him. I would love that for both teams. I don't know if they would actually do it because I believe the Cavs and Bucks are also in the same I know divisions don't matter as much in basketball, but they play each other a hell of a lot.
True.
So I don't know, but I like that idea.
Yeah. Well, it's a tough one. At the end of the day, it's going to be a tough one for the Cavs because I can't see them unloading assets to build around Donovan. I just don't.
Yeah. All right. Warriors. We'll do Warriors and Nuggets. We'll try to be quick with the last two because it's getting late.
Yeah, there's the rat-a-tat-tat ones.
Yeah, the Warriors are interesting because they don't have a ton of assets. They traded what they had to get Jimmy Butler. I feel like their core's kind of stuck. Butler, Curry, and Draymond Green. It is tough, man. They're in the West. The West is fucking tough. The only move I can see them making, and I'm curious, is Kuminga.
Oh, he's gone.
Well, I don't. Some people love him, some people hate him. I don't know like where you fall. The move is to sign and trade him. I just don't know what they'd get from him.
That's what I'm saying. He's gone. You just find another shooter. Get Steph somebody that he can spot up with, and Jimmy plays underneath the rim because like Jimmy's under contract for another 2 years, so like they're not going to get rid of him.
He's washed a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't want to say it.
I mean, he can't be. He said it himself. He's Robin. He can't be Batman anymore. I think those days are gone. Steph can be if he's healthy. He's going to be 36, 37 years old. So like time's catching up to him. I just think, there's not really much out there for the Warriors to do besides just play their vets. And we watch them walk off into the sunset like we did with the San Antonio Spurs. Like the Spurs got a championship they probably shouldn't have won against Miami. And it's like the Warriors got a championship against the Celtics that they probably shouldn't have won a couple of years ago. So now they're just getting old. That's all. I don't see them getting rid of Steph. I don't see them getting rid of Draymond. I think we're past those times, and you can't get rid of Jimmy after you just traded for him. So I think you get rid of Kuminga. You bring in another shooter. You try to develop what's that Podziemski kid? Maybe Buddy Hield. Yeah, maybe Buddy Hield gets shipped out of there because he can't really play defense. But there's not much that they can do. I think this team just gets old and they move on.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of a team that would be interested in a Kuminga type and like what a trade would look like.
Houston.
I don't think they need a Kuminga. Kuminga's ability is best is when the ball's in his hand. That's why it doesn't work with him in Golden State. He's not like
It's not spot up.
No, he's like, give me the ball, let me cook, and he'll put up good numbers. It'd probably be like a bad team trying to like rebuild.
Charlotte, just go to the Hornets. Get the ball out of LaMelo's hand so he can get traded.
I'm trying to think who would go back in that type of deal. The one Brooklyn makes sense to me. I don't know who they'd grab from Brooklyn.
Sure, go to Brooklyn.
Yeah, someone maybe.
Do they play in Brooklyn? Or do they play in New Jersey?
Cam, I don't know if that'd be a good trade. Cam Johnson, would you like that? Cam Johnson for Kuminga?
No, Cam Johnson is the same player.
He's a better shooter. He's more of a shooter.
Yeah, sure. Send Cam Johnson. To
What were you gonna ask?
Does Brooklyn play in Brooklyn or do they play in New Jersey? Is Barclays in New Jersey or is it in Brooklyn?
It's in Brooklyn. I've actually been to Barclays.
I remember you said that. Yeah, you went last year.
It's nice. It's nice.
Wow, that wasn't your sentiment when you went last year. You said it was terrible.
Did I say it was terrible?
Yeah, you said it was dark. It wasn't the greatest stadiums.
Okay, maybe it was terrible. Their fans suck. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, very businesslike for a team that hasn't won a championship.
That makes sense. All right, last one. Denver Nuggets. Tricky situation again. They're another team pressed against the cap. I had to look at their cap table. I'll look it up really quick, but I feel like the most probable would be Michael Porter Jr. Like,
Oh, he's gone.
if they're pressed against the cap, can you find someone who wants Michael Porter Jr.? So next year they're on the hook for
Maybe he goes to the Warriors.
next year they're on the hook for 199 million, which would put them over the second apron a little bit. It's tough, man, because actually Aaron Gordon's contract's not bad. It's Michael Porter Jr. He's Jesus Christ, 38 million. Here's the problem with the Nuggets. Nikola Jokic has paid a shit ton of money, which he's worth every penny and more. Jamal Murray, like he's
He's
getting
got a
paid.
tough contract.
Yeah, 46 million next year, 50 after that, and it keeps going up. Like I like Jamal Murray, but this was not a good season for him.
No.
He's not playing like a $46 million player. Really, everyone outside of Nikola Jokic is just underperforming their contract numbers. And you're going to have to keep Jamal Murray, right? Michael Porter Jr. is the obvious stain. You got to move on from him. I think everyone else on the book is pretty much stuck. Westbrook will be gone. It's really about just filling this team out and just finding some value bin players that are like mid-level to kind of add depth, because throughout this playoff run, like Nikola Jokic has proved that he's the best player in the world. It's just
they need to.
Go ahead.
Sorry, they need to find somebody to spill him like that. I don't understand how they don't have some type of backup center. Like DeAndre Jordan is still on the roster.
They do. They have Dario Saric too, but he's terrible.
No,
Somebody
that like you don't like when Jokic's ass hits the chair. You don't go, hey, you almost ready over there? Like you gotta get somebody that like can actually stand in the game.
Forget someone who could just find anyone who could run an offense when Jokic is out of the game.
It's so bad. They're I don't want to say they're screwed, but they're a team that like they relied so heavily on Jokic that they didn't think that he might need somebody that can help him out. Like when he's exhausted, and not even exhausted. Like he's not like the Luka out of shape exhausted. He's the I'm playing 45 minutes a game.
Yeah, he's doing everything.
Trying to get rebound scoring and running offense. Like dog, I'm tired. I'm 7 foot, 260 pounds. Like
he plays very physical too, a very exhausting style.
100%. Yeah, he can shoot. Obviously, he shoots so ugly, and like it's such a there's no way he's shooting that, and he is, and he makes it, and then he bump you down in the paint, give you a shimmy and a hook shot.
Here's the problem with the Nuggets, right? Is I'm looking at the roster now. Christian Brown has actually been a very good story for them this season.
Yes.
He's proven to be a legitimate like low end starter. Like he deserves a starting spot on this team. So he's definitely shown he can fill one of the holes. But with you count him in, your starting five is what? Jokic, Murray, him, Aaron Gordon, and if you're trying to move on from Michael Porter, let's get rid of him. Then who else? They got
Peyton Watson, the Strother kid.
Right. So like they are really, really struggling. Their best hope is this, and I'm sorry to cut you off, just finish really quick, is like they need to hope one of these guys can develop, Strother or who was the other one you mentioned?
Peyton Watson.
They need one of those guys to develop, and they need to just find some sort of mid-level to sign some sort of veteran player that can just play 20 minutes off the bench that isn't Russell Westbrook.
Hey. The mystery box. Sorry, I'm exhausted. My bad. I didn't yawn.
Well, we're finishing up now.
That would give out of nowhere. Usually I have a water bottle next to me, but I forgot it.
Nuggets, man. All right. You want to finish up? Get to closing takes?
Let's do this.
Okay. Okay. I was say, should I just go straight into my closing take of the?
No, just play the sounder, bro. Like, let's do it legit. Come on.
Well, we haven't done the wrestling thing yet, so I don't know how you want to do it. But all right, I got you.
The show is coming to an end. But first, it's time to get to anything we've missed. It's closing time. 1 segment, 2 takes. Now go.
All right, we're wrapping up. It's closing takes. It's time for me and D to fire off one last thought, one last take of the day. I was going to start doing this thing we talked about last week, and it was giving some homage to an old school WWE, WWF wrestler. I wanted to start this week. I got one for you, D. I'm trying to find the theme song. I think I have it, but I don't want to screw it up. So I'll give it a try. Are you ready? Let's see if this is.
Fifteens in the rear.
Those, I don't think this is it.
Yes, 15's in the
Nope.
rear. Yeah.
That's just the song called "Turn It Up." I was going for "Sky Too Hottie."
Okay.
This theme song was "Turn It Up." You remember
Bang
that?
it up. Banging it.
Yeah. So I wanted to just have a little discussion on Sky Too Hottie. I was looking at some of his information before the show. This dude's history is kind of weird, and I wonder how weird all these wrestlers' history is. Did you know he is from Maine? He's from New England. Yeah,
I did not know that.
Sky Too Hottie is from New England. He was famous for doing the worm finisher move. You remember that?
Yes, I
Did he
do.
make the worm famous, or was the worm a big thing before him?
I feel like it blew up when he did that. Because
Okay.
the people still did the worm at middle school dances, but I think because he did it, it made people go, "Yo, let's do the worm." Like I think it became bigger.
He's also known for like his eccentric style. I want to describe his ring attire. Sky Too Hottie is
He always wore zebra, right?
who's Flavortown guy? Who's my Flavor?
Oh yes, Guy Fieri.
Guy Fury. He's like Guy Fury if he was skinny and in shape. That's how he would dress. And yeah, I'm looking at his bio a little bit. He has a couple championships. He has two tag team championships with Rikishi. With was it Too Cool? Was the name of the
was their
group?
faction? Yep.
And he has a light heavyweight championship. So he had a good run. I think it says he was in the WWE for 9 years, which is a pretty solid run for like a somewhat no name wrestler.
Good for him. Yeah, 5'9", 220. Maybe I should have been a wrestler.
That's a strong. Do you think he's really 220?
No.
Yeah, like that's massive. It's like middle linebacker.
Although, I was pushing 215 a couple months ago, so like maybe it was a thing. And I'm not I was pushing a 215, not in a positive way. So like I could maybe 220 is not that bad.
Okay. Well, I think I found the theme. Can you hear it?
No.
Maybe when you're doing your take, I can hit up the Scotty Too Hottie theme.
Scotty Too Thotty. Let's not start that. Maybe that's somebody's next wrestling gimmick.
Scotty Too Hottie.
Scotty Too Thotty.
Yeah, and he's actually a firefighter now. Scotty Too Hottie.
Good for him.
Post career. So yeah, just a random shout out to a wrestler from the early 2000s that I vaguely remember.
Okay.
Right, what you got for me?
So I was gonna go soccer, and then I was like, we started to talk about it, and then we didn't talk about it. This guy. Do you see?
This theme?
Yeah.
When you go.
Go ahead.
Turn it up.
That was interesting.
Turn it up.
I feel like that's not his original theme.
That's it.
That is his original theme.
Oh wait, there's another one. Yes, there is another one.
It was like
after that.
It's a sky on a. Yeah.
Um.
Sorry to interrupt you.
Let's ride today. I think it's Let's Ride Today. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. You'd have to look at it. We're not gonna do it right now though.
Yeah.
Here we go. The 49ers. We didn't get to talk about this because it's not football. They are doing something that is their history. So for those that are unaware of it, the 49ers was chasing another Super Bowl. They've been chasing a Super Bowl for a very long time. Granted, they were really good in the 80s and 90s when they had Jerry Rice and Joe Montana. And then it took them a while to get Steve Young to win one, the monkey off the back video. We all remember that. Since Steve Young, hear me out. This is their pattern. And I'm not trying to put a hex, but this is their pattern. They went from Steve Young to Jeff Garcia. They signed Jeff Garcia to a massive contract. Year after they signed him, he got injured. Who was his backup? Alex Smith. Alex Smith had a good year. They signed him to a massive contract.
Alex Smith was the backup?
Yep.
Oh wait, was this after he was drafted by the Chiefs?
Yep, and then he got signed.
Okay.
Signed to 49ers. Hear me out. Alex Smith gets signed. What happens? Gets a contract. He gets hurt.
Wait.
Well, hear me out. After Alex Smith gets signed and gets hurt, who's his backup? Colin Kaepernick. Colin Kaepernick brings them to the Super Bowl. After they lose in the Super Bowl, what happens? They sign him to a massive contract. He gets hurt.
Oh, boy.
Or get hurt and blackballed. What happens after Cap? Good old successful Jimmy, right? Jimmy G brings him to a Super Bowl. Signs him to a massive contract. Gets hurt. What happens? They bring in Brock Purdy. Brings him to a Super Bowl. Signs a massive contract.
Who's
History's not on their side right now.
Yeah.
With they are the only team that I watched it. I was like, holy shit, this is not good. They have their type of player, and they have their type of role. So I'm not putting it out there, but the fact that this is a pattern, it's kind of scary. That since the Montana Steve Young, every quarterback that has been a 49er and brought them somewhere they need to go, they get a contract extension and then they get hurt and replaced. So good for Brock Purdy getting his bread, $230 million. I'm not mad at that. Mr. Irrelevant a couple of years ago. I'm glad. I still don't think he's that guy, but he's just the next guy up to get paid. Go ahead and fact check me because I'm not wrong about this one. Just hey man, good luck.
Look at some stuff off because I was a little confused on the whole Alex Smith thing because I was like, you're like, oh, Alex Smith replaced him. Alex Smith was drafted first overall, so was it? And maybe I don't remember. What?
Didn't Alex Smith go to Kansas City?
He was drafted by the 49ers.
So then he was drafted. My apologies. I said signed. My apologies. He was drafted. His replacement. It was Garcia's replacement.
So did Garcia get hurt and they just completely
got quarterback
that season?
Yep.
Oh no, Garcia was released in 2003, and Alex Smith was drafted in 2005. So there was 1 year where something was gapped there. But all right, your point is still it's still valid. Yes, I see your point. I'm sorry.
The next. My apologies. Sorry, the next quarterback. But yes. It's just scary how relevant this pattern has been for them, where it's every time they sign a quarterback to an extension, he gets hurt and then they replace him, and it's usually after a Super Bowl appearance, which is
who's my guy from the Texas Longhorns, the Manning?
Oh, you think it's gonna be Quinn Ewers? Oh,
Manning next year?
Yeah, Arch is staying in college. It's okay, big dog. The Saints are gonna be bad the year after that too, so. Just in case you think you can get away from us, we're still going to be a very bad team.
It's not Spencer Rattler. You're good, man.
No, we got Taylor Show. We don't even have Spencer. We have Spencer Rattler, but dog, we'll just end it off of this one. I watched a video of Drew Brees commenting on Tyler Show. Drew Brees is a good guy. He's got all good in his heart, and he tried so hard to make Tyler Show sound like he's good. We are thoroughly fucked. He beat around the bush so much. He looks good. He's tall. He stands tall in the pocket. He makes some good throws. And it's you couldn't say that he's a good quarterback. It's fine, man. It's perfect that we're going 3-16 this year.
Are you even looking forward to football season?
I am because I love football, but not watching the Saints games.
Not as a Saints fan?
It will most likely be a flick of the channel back to red zone at halftime every single game this season.
Fair enough. I'm looking for. I have a chance to win the division again.
Yep. Well, it's not going to be competitive for the Saints. So at least you're only fighting against two teams. Panthers, watch out.
Teams.
Yeah. Panthers and okay, whatever.
I'm on the Panthers just yet. We'll see.
Ooh, what a show. What do we do timing wise? Hour and 20? Still not an hour.
You're let's do it under an hour. Yeah, we got that, buddy. Don't worry.
All right, let's get up out of here. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, deep generation. No, we won't go that route. Maybe we'll give a shout out to Road Dogg at some point. For everybody that's in here, for those that were commenting or just showing up on YouTube, we appreciate all of the love. Look at this. What? This is pretty cool. I like this.
This is cool.
Especially when we're dipping out of here. When you guys want to find us live, go back to the circles. When you guys want to find us live, find us on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch. You can find your boy at @DFrizzy_Frizz5 on Twitch. Like and subscribe, follow, hit all those buttons. Next day, you can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, whatever it is. Websites usually at the bottom. www.frizzandthegrizz.com. Like I always say when we get up out of here, be a friend, say something nice. You never know what it could do for someone. You just pressing buttons.
I'm so fucking distracted. Peace.
When we're getting up out of here, please make sure y'all take care of y'all mentals, take care of y'all physicals, take care of y'all chicken, take care of y'all children, and we'll catch y'all on the rebound. Peace.
The Bears are who we thought they were. And that's why we took the damn field. Now, if you want to crown them, then crown their ass. But they are who we thought they were. And we let them off the hook.